Okie doke, so this is standard 2.5. Explain the biochemical and or molecular processes involved in the growth and repair of integumentary tissues. You're going to be given 4 boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and asked to draw the 3 layers of the skin, epidermis, dermis, hypodermis, at each stage of the repair process, from first getting cut to fully healed, and include all of these things: mast cells, migrating epithelial cells, macrophages, fibroblasts, scar tissue, and adipocytes repairing themselves. You're going to be also asked to fully describe what happens in each of those 4 stages using words from the table in your description. So I'm going to do both at once because you can't really separate the drawing and the explanation. So we're going to do both at the same time. The first box, you're going to draw step 1 after you immediately get cut. Bleeding occurs at the site of injury, so blood is dripping down right here. Blood is formed in the cut. Bleeding is happening. And mast cells are going to sound the alarm. These cells right here with all the black dots are going to sound the alarm and trigger an inflammatory response, meaning your body is going to respond to fight back against bacteria and viruses that are there and repair the area. So bleeding happens. If you're drawing this, you draw this little cut and draw some blood coming down, and you can draw the mast cells sounding the alarm, ding, 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 ding. And you should do the layers, so you can draw the epidermis at the top, and then the dermis, and then draw some circles for the adipocytes of the hypodermis. Step 2, a few hours later. So your bleeding has filled up your cut, and now you have a scab. A scab has formed from your blood, and fibrillin, this hard, not very stretchy substance, is covering the cut to give you some protection. Stratum basal cells, so epithelial cells, right, are going to migrate, walk down the edges of the wound to get to the bottom of your cut. So these epithelial cells are going to migrate along the sides of the wound to get to the bottom. Macrophages are going to start eating all the garbage left over, destroyed cells, destroyed fibers, anything in there that needs to be just taken away. Macrophages are going to eat up. And we're going to have enhanced circulation, meaning we're going to grow capillaries to the area, capillaries, and blood is going to, we can get more cells here and get more nutrients out and get the garbage away. We can do all of those things because we have the superhighways right next to our cut. If you're drawing this, you draw the scab up top, right? You draw some cells walking down the edge. You draw some macrophages eating the garbage, and you can draw these capillaries coming into the area. A week later, step 3. So we have a few hours later, our scab is formed, and we started cleaning up the garbage. A week after that, epidermal cells have finished walking and have grown underneath the scab, meaning they walked all the way down, and they started multiplying and grew up underneath the scab. So now we have a new layer of the epidermis here underneath that scab. Fibroblasts have made collagen. So our dermis got destroyed. We have fibroblasts that repair it because we have collagen fibers and elastic fibers. Fibroblasts are going to be the cells that do that, right? They look the same as macrophages, but draw fibroblasts. They're going to make collagen, and that is going to push the epidermal cells up. So if you look in the last picture, they were way down here. The epidermal cells grew. But fibroblasts have been making collagen that has pushed the epidermal cells up. Macrophages are almost done. You don't have to draw them in this picture, but if you want to, you can draw a cell eating something, I don't know. So you're drawing this, you draw your epidermal cells underneath the scab. You draw fibroblasts making some new collagen to repair the wound in the dermis. And you can, if you're talking about it, you say macrophages are almost done. Step 4, several weeks later. So after several weeks, our scab is gone. What you should draw is draw the skin, and there's a little like depression here, meaning a little hole. It's not the same height, but the scab's gone. The epidermis is complete. It's not totally finished, right? There's this little hole because fibroblasts are still repairing the dermis. So they're going to keep growing this collagen, building it up, and pushing the epidermis up until it's the same height. For now, it's not fully done yet, so there's a little dip. And scar tissue is left over where the wound used to be. So scar tissue is going to be that collagen, right? Tough and strong, but it's not necessarily the same as skin. The rest of the normal dermis yet. We have this scar tissue, tough collagen, left over. So, shed the scab. So don't draw the scab, but draw this little dip. Draw the whole epidermis, complete right there. Draw fibroblasts, still making more collagen, repairing the dermis. And you can label it as scar tissue. So label the scar tissue, which is all this white right here, would be scar tissue, which doesn't look the same as this normal pink dermis. So let's make sure that I talked about it all. Let's see. We have epidermis, dermis, hypodermis. We label that in the very first drawing, right? You don't have to label the other ones, but you can if you want. Epidermis, dermis, hypodermis. We draw mast cells, migrating epithelial cells, and macrophages. So in the very first drawing, you can draw mast cells, right? Sounding the alarm. You can draw migrating epithelial cells right after that. And you can draw macrophages eating the debris. And fibroblasts, scar tissue. Fibroblasts and scar tissue. Fibroblasts are in step 3, right here. There's some scar tissue. And step 4, fibroblasts, scar tissue. And last one though, adipocytes. I'm telling you this because we didn't really talk about it, but they're going to divide and make more of themselves. So if you look at the cut in stage 2, right, it's cut into the adipocytes. They've been cut out. They're destroyed. But the ones around it are going to multiply and make more. So you can just draw them cut into the adipocytes, and then bam, there are more after we've repaired the dermis. The adipocytes have repaired themselves. And that is standard 2.5, explain the biochemical and molecular processes. To describe it, to fully describe what happens, you should talk about, you can include these bullet points. And it should help with your drawing, because if you draw it, you should be able to talk about it. We bleed, we sound the alarm, we get a scab, cells migrate, macrophages eat things, circulation, cells are growing underneath, fibroblasts are repairing the area, macrophages are almost done, scab's gone, epidermis is complete, fibroblasts are making more collagen still, repairing the dermis, scar tissue is left over. And that is the end.